and welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. I'm your host, Michelle Graves, affectionately known for the last 3 decades, can you believe that, as the Money Lady, offering all kinds of information, insights on the world of money, and bringing in experts to talk about various subjects that you and I would like to know more about as it relates to life skills and money. And today is no exception. I have for the next hour an extraordinary guest, a friend of mine, and I was able to nail her down because she's so busy, Helen Rogers. And she is the owner of Seasons of Life Consulting. And that company specializes in educating teens, adults, and businesses, as well as faith-based leaders in dining, in etiquette, in interviewing, networking, money issues, that's my favorite, as well as life principles from the inside out. She is seasoned in the area of international etiquette as well, and brings such a depth of knowledge and experience. And she's been about this for a long, long time. And I might as well tell you that she is also a Christian. And that is even more remarkable in the world of business, because I'm telling you, people, it's rough out here. Okay? So I'm going to get started. Got a lot of issues to cover, topics to talk about, and I want you to fall in love with Helen Rogers, because years and years ago when I was doing radio, I fell in love with her and thought she to be a remarkable woman. I think that you will agree. Miss Rogers.
And good morning, Michelle.
And good morning to you. Where do we want to begin? Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Well, I can give you my 30-second commercial, I call it.
Okay, I'll do a 30-second commercial.
I says, from the cotton fields of Alabama to trade school, to the United States Marine Corps, to corporate America, to unemployment, to Seasons of Life, a consulting in God's time and God's season. Helen Rogers.
Awesome. Now that's a good 30-second. From Alabama, what part of Alabama?
I was born and reared in Midway, Alabama. It's about an hour southeast of Montgomery.
Okay.
As a point of reference.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was there for the first 18 years. It was mom and daddy and 3 sisters, 3 girls, 3 boys.
Oh my goodness.
And,
okay.
And we've had them different career backgrounds. My older sister was in food, the dietetic side of it. And then my brother was in computers. He worked for Young Rubicam advertising in New York for 31 years.
Oh, now that's not a joke. That's
know.
serious. Okay.
Then you get the 3rd child, which is me.
Okay.
And
you're the middle child.
I'm the middle. And one of the things that make my life different is that my parents had received salvation by way, the baptism in Jesus' name and the infilling of the Holy Ghost when I was born.
Oh my gosh.
And my father wanted me to be a missionary.
Uh-huh.
I just felt that after I got older, that, missionaries have to go to other countries.
Right.
But I realized I was doing missionary work all the time, because when there was a wedding or a funeral or a special event and all the family couldn't go because we didn't have a vehicle.
Okay.
I went to represent the family.
Oh my goodness. That's interesting.
Yes, and in the 60s when we had the first energy crisis,
yes,
we all had to make a quilt before we left home.
Okay.
So I had my quilt because I had left home by then. I sent it to my brother in New York for my niece and nephew because I didn't want them cold. I said if the temperature is down, they're small enough to snuggle in one bed.
Okay.
So I was doing missionary work when I didn't see the title as missionary.
Missionary, right.
But I've always had a desire to help others, to share with others. We never considered ourselves as being poor, even though our cash flow was $36 a month. My father was blind, so he received $6 per child per month, which was $36, and the rest we gathered from the farm.
You had a farm.
We had a farm. We had cotton, corn, peanuts, cows, the traditional. And then in the 60s, we became poultry farmers. We had the chicken house.
Yes.
At first, we had, they're called fryers now in the restaurants. And we did that. You keep them for 9 weeks and you sell them. Then later, we had the layers.
Okay.
So until the egg got a certain size, you didn't sell them. So at one point in my life, I'm glad they didn't talk about cholesterol because we were so happy to have eggs, and more
And
eggs.
more eggs.
And more
And
eggs.
it did not hurt you. It's obvious to me they
Well,
were healthy chickens.
well, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you. But then both of my parents are gone now.
Okay.
But then the brother next to me, he passed in 65. He had an enlarged heart and bronchoasthma. So he was 16 years old.
Okay.
So then the next brother is Charles. And he, I guess we'll call all the names, huh? Was Charles. And he went into the Air Force. He retired after 20 plus years. And then my youngest sister went in the Air Force also. She retired after 30 some years. And Charles is retired. Now the younger is still working.
Now you said Marines?
Yes, I was in Marines.
You went through boot camp?
At Parris Island, South Carolina.
You did boot camp,
did
Helen
boot camp.
Rogers.
In June.
In June.
It's hot.
With all the swampy heat.
Yes, the sand fleas.
The sand fleas. The boots.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Now, from a humorous point, I didn't do the gas chamber because it rained both times my group was to go.
So you did not do that?
I did not do the gas chamber. The closest I came to tear gas was doing the demonstrations 65, 66 in Alabama.
Okay.
Because I participated in the civil rights movement there.
Okay.
I sang with the candidates running for office for the county and for the state.
In Alabama.
In Alabama.
Ooh-wee. Next to Mississippi. Ooh-wee.
That's right.
Jeez, Helen.
Yes.
But you were a Marine.
Yes, but I was disciplined before I became a Marine.
Okay.
Daddy put values, principles. Matter of fact, I received my first financial training from my father.
Okay.
And that is a tenth belong to the Lord.
Yes.
And if you don't give it to him,
He gonna take it.
bad things
Are gonna happen.
will come up.
Yes.
And so, yes, he will, in one way or other, you will not benefit from it.
Right.
Let me
I had a Baptist pastor tell me this in Middletown, an older white gentleman who I love so much. And he said, you know what, Michelle? He said, when I tell people, if you don't give him that 10, you gonna pay it another way.
Yes, you will.
You're gonna pay it out of your pocket another way.
Right. And I like what the scripture says. It's like having a bag with holes in it.
Yes.
And it's falling out, and you don't even know it's falling out.
You don't even know it's falling.
You don't even fall out.
Right.
Either the car is going to stop or the electric, something going to happen, something.
Yes.
But he has a way. But I don't see it as a cruel God. I see him as a loving God trying to get our attention.
Right.
Would you please just give me my 10th?
Yeah, which is actually mine anyway.
Thank you.
All of it.
I gave you 90 to work with.
Right.
Would you please?
Give me mine.
And give an offering.
Yes.
Too many of us do not understand the importance of the offering. The tithes is required.
Yes,
the
it's like paying rent.
Is how much I love you.
Yes.
How much I love you. And when I do that, then I am really telling Jesus, I appreciate what you're doing for me. I was reading in Psalms 116 and verse 17, said, I'll offer sacrifices of thanksgiving unto the Lord. That was this morning, and I said, I am so grateful to be here.
Yes.
To be here, to be asked. He's opened this door for me.
Yes.
So
yes. Well, I'm grateful to have you because I find you to be such an amazing woman. And I say this, not that I'm anti-male, because I'm not, but once in a while when you run into what I call a multidimensional woman who brings such a depth of background, and I'm a country girl. I'm not going to lie. My people are country people. And I respect the culture.
Exactly.
It's a hard-working culture.
Yes, it is.
And poverty is not about money. Poverty is about the mindset.
Exactly.
And so a person who has riches and as well as wealth through their family and how your father taught you all and poured into you all and loved your mother. And these are precious, precious things.
Yes.
That instill a foundation to jetson you into your destiny.
Exactly. And I appreciate it. As most children, I should say, in my youth, you don't.
No.
But I learned the value of what they've said. And Daddy will be gone 15 years in September.
Yes.
And I have talked to some of the siblings, and I plan to talk to the other, that I want to do an article. And I want to share what I'm still applying to my life now, what he taught me then.
Yes.
And
yes.
how it is helping me now is what I want to do in September.
So now you moved from the Marine Corps, and then you moved into corporate America. Is that what happened?
Yes, I went to work for, well, it's Snyder Electric now.
Okay.
But it was Square D company at that time.
Okay.
I went to work for Snyder Electric, and I was in inventory control, and then I went to work in human resource for 6 years.
Okay.
And that's when I attended Miami University to increase my communication skills.
In Oxford, Ohio.
In Oxford,
okay.
Ohio.
Fine university.
Yes.
Fine university.
And so because I was on the negotiating team, and then doing arbitration.
Yes.
Then I did career fairs also. So that's why I thought I need to improve there.
Yes, yes.
And the important thing, other than helping people, employing people that were over 40, and being able to give them an assigned job in manufacturing that they could handle.
Okay.
And going through 2 negotiations without a strike was my to God be the glory.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because
in
are my
corporate, the
milestones.
strike, I mean, that's called no money is being made today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So grateful for that. And then after 25 plus years, in 2001, the Lord just transitioned me right out of there.
Huh.
But he always warned us. So in June of 2001, he said to me that the abuse on your job is going to stop.
Ah.
And he says, I'm going to multiply your ministry because of your faithfulness.
How wonderful.
Well, in July, the department manager that I covered for most of the time went to another department. I said, oh, the persecution has stopped. It has stopped. I got happy. But I didn't ask the Lord, when will the change come? I decided it was going to be probably January because they were merging 2 of the locations, and they would bring in someone else, and that'll be just fine.
Okay.
Well, that's not what happened.
Oh, my
In
gosh.
November, I I saw an email because I had been gone for 3 days. I got an email, and it said that they were reducing the workforce by 400 people. I
my
said,
gosh.
Oh, that's not good. Well, about 10:15, give or take, human resource call. And it was near the 15th. If they call you near the 15th and near the end of the month, take your purse, take your planner, because you're not coming back to your desk.
Yeah, because you're not coming back.
I had seen that happen, so I just knew what to do.
Oh, my gosh. How did you feel? Because you do know that corporations are continuing to restructure, to tighten their costs, and to get rid of people. That is primary in the corporate world.
That's right. Well, at first, I was hurt.
Yes.
And I decided, said, now I could do, and I named the positions that I could have been assigned to. So then after a while, I found myself in denial. And then it came to me, did not the Holy Ghost tell you 5 months before, or in June, that it was going to change? He cannot multiply your ministry
and you're
with
there.
a full-time manufacturing job.
Right.
Because I used to refer to myself in the late 80s, early 90s as the weekend preacher. I would fly out on Friday and be back to work by noon on Monday. But I have ministered Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Right.
And I fly back in as the weekend preacher. That's fine. But he's saying to me, it's time out for you being the weekend preacher. I have other things for you to do. So I had written one book. I did not bring it with me, but For Just the Time Is This. And so
I have that book.
Thank you. Thank you. So in there, it was classes and workshops that I had done. And so I put it in print so the ones that could not hire me or contract with me, they could read the book because it's self-taught.
Right.
And we could go from there. But just knowing, but reason he transitioned me is, other than he wanted to, was that In 1966, out of high school, I was going to go to college to be a social worker. But I looked around after working and visiting homes through with the voter registration project. I said, I have been poor long enough. I'm going to get a job and make some money. So I left and I went to trade school.
I understand.
Well, fast forward back. So from 2001 until 2005, I did various things. I wrote more books. I taught workshops. I went from no 401k because I had spent it. I went to no unemployment because I had used it, to my retirement from Square D, which was less than my mortgage. That's when I come to myself.
Yes. Well, sometimes pain therapy can work.
Yes.
I mean, it's like a thump on the head, like, oh my God, this is as real as it gets.
Yes. And I also learned that I had to still deposit into my life, into the job search, career search, even though the money was minimum. And so I asked the Lord, how do I keep the house?
Right.
Because my older sister shares with the house with me. And her income was so-so. And so he showed me how to refinance the house. Now, at that time, I was working with Primerica. And I was learning how to teach finances. Because I always felt that we should be able to do better than we're doing.
Oh my gosh.
Across the board.
Yes.
How can I help the middle income and the low income
to
save
do better?
$25 a month, if that's what it takes. Put it in an envelope until you can make a deposit and don't touch it. But I realized, even though I was coming to a group that I felt would accept what I was sharing, and I had the support that I needed from the team. I was part of a team. They still did not collectively did not accept it. So in 2006, I met the director of the YWCA of Hamilton. Because I was attending an awards celebration there in Hamilton. And so for the low income and low self-esteem opportunities, her husband was there. I didn't know him. I didn't know the director. So I was sharing with him. I introduced myself and what I'm doing. He looks at me and said, you need to meet my wife. I said, I do? I said, what's her name? So he told me. I jotted it down where she worked. So that was on Friday night. On Sunday, I also conduct the senior outreach for the Knowles of Oxford. So I was there to conduct service. And so the other member that went with me says, that's Sybil. And that's her mother.
My
Talk about the Holy Ghost leaping.
Yes. Divine connection.
Yes. So when her mother was there in the convalescent area. So when it was over, I told about I had met her husband and that he said we needed to talk. So she says, call me. And we made an appointment. So she called me, probably 3 months later after we had talked, and said, can you do a 4-week workshop in 2 weeks?
Whoa, yes.
I said, of course I can do that. I can do that.
I can do that.
Yes. And the thing about it, she had written a grant the year before. A space in that grant was for a consultant. We didn't even know each other. But
it was already set. Oh yeah.
It's already
done.
There.
It's already done.
Just waiting. So then in August of 2006, I became full circle with 1966. I became an employee with the YWCA, which is a social service organization. When he wants you to do it, you will do it regardless of how long.
He will not be denied.
He brings you back to it.
He'll circle you right back around.
Right back. So in the meantime, I would teach workshops and then speak from time to time. And I signed up to work with, they assigned me to, shall I say, the Dove House Protective Shelter in Butler County. So working with women and children of abuse.
Okay. Now, is the Dove House out of Middletown? I met a lady, I think, that had kind of, I don't know if she started it or she was involved with the Dove House.
Yes.
Many years ago.
There was a location in Middletown,
Okay.
and there's a location in another area in Butler County as well.
Okay,
Because
for women and their children.
Within their children. And if there is a male that is being abused and need protection, we send them to an hotel.
Stop right now. Stop. Halt this conversation. And I don't wish to be biased or even perceived to be discriminatory, but how does a man become abused by his wife?
Because his father taught him, do not hit your sister, do not hit women.
So he's honored that.
He has honored his father's teaching.
Okay.
And he went, I attended a workshop once, and the gentleman was speaking, and he was a victim. And he had been abused horribly, like pushed through the patio window, the glass cut, his backside. He had to go to the doctor. He came back from the doctor, and the glass was still on the floor. And the wife says, you broke it, you fix it, and the 3-year-old is running around the house. He finally had to make a change when she pushed him down the step.
A woman pushed him down.
Because
he wasn't going to fight back.
He was not going to fight back, and we're going to hang in there. And another reason men that we don't have the statistics for men that we have for women, is because law enforcement look at a 100-pound female and a 250-pound male.
And says, no way.
And you saying, what? What? But it goes on.
I thank you for clarifying that,
that's
because
how
Helen,
it happens.
I am so serious, and this goes early in the 80s, before this whole domestic violence thing has come into the forefront. But women were just getting beat up and everything, and
Exactly.
I offered, at that time I was working for a major corporation in their investment division, and I offered my house as a sanctuary for women. This was in the 70s.
Wonderful.
Actually. Yeah, I did. Well, wonderful in one aspect, not so wonderful in another aspect, but I remember having a man ask me if he could stay at my home because his wife was abusing him. And Helen, I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, how does this happen?
That's how it happens.
That's
one of the ways. That's one of the ways.
That's one of the ways.
That's one of the ways it happens.
Oh my God, is she crazy? Yes, she has to be crazy. She has to be crazy.
Well, we all have situations.
I know, Ellen.
Because our personality clash and all of those things. Okay. Because we have a program called Options.
Okay.
That is open to anyone, and it's held at the YWCA in Hamilton. And we've had male and female to come to Options. You have options. You don't have to stay in your situation.
Now, is options different from choices? Because young people today talk about choices. Yeah.
No, the foundation is the same.
Okay.
You can choose to do this. You can choose to stay. You can choose to leave. If you choose to stay, this is what you're faced with. If you choose to leave, then this is what you need to do. We'll talk to them about safety plans.
Okay.
We'll talk to them about coming to grips with, is this what I really want to do?
Who wants to live their life in violence?
But think about it this way. You have a mother that's unemployed.
Okay.
She's been a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
So I'm talking about
this is real life stuff.
Middle and upper income.
Yeah.
She doesn't have credit cards in her name.
Oh.
They're all in his name.
Oh.
Because, baby, I'll provide for you. You know I'll take good care of you. Well, yes, dear. You know, I do love you.
I do love you.
So you take care of the children. You take care of the house. I received phone calls, and this was the gist of the conversation, that I am here because I have no credibility. I can't start a life for myself. So when I finish talking with them, I'll share with them, yes, you can. Make up in your mind you want to live and not die. And you want to live a productive, healthy life. Now with that, let me share some things with you, and I'll give her some pointers as to how to start leaving,
Yes.
preparing to leave. You need a safety plan. You need someone that you really trust, that, and especially if there's children still in the home. The children has to know what the safety plan is, because say I'm going to, after school, you're going to Jane's house. You're talking to the children. You're not coming home. You're going to stay with Jane, and I'm going to pick you up later. But you cannot tell Daddy that you're going to Jane's. Plus, children know quite a bit more, or shall I say a lot more than we give them credit for. They hear the voice, the raised voice. They hear mommy is sleepy. They see mommy sleeping in the daytime when she should be awake. They see these telltale signs. There was one friend of mine where her husband would make her stand in the corner all night.
What did you say?
Make her stand.
Like she's a child.
That's right.
All night.
And we would say, get in the corner, or
Yes.
go to the corner.
Go to the corner.
Go to the corner all night.
Oh, shoot. Somebody need to take him to the shed, as we country people say.
Well,
he just need to go to the shed now, and some men need to go with him to help him to see God.
If I thought he would see it in the shed, I would help the men take him.
Right.
But it's a mindset. It's a controlled spirit that they have. It's a domineering spirit of, I am in charge of you. I will control you. I will tell you when to go and when not to go.
Jeez, are they born like this?
It's a spirit. Some comes born like that, and some picks up the spirit by, that's what Grandpa did.
Or my father.
That's what my father did.
Oh, my God.
I was in one session, training-wise, and the lady said that she decided to leave when she saw her son
doing the same thing
to her daughter, the same thing that her husband was doing to her. She says, I have to go.
Oh.
I have to go.
Well, I must, if I might interject,
Sure.
There's a very, very successful chef, Flav or something. He has a restaurant chains all over. And I just read this morning, super early, where he is divorcing his wife of many years, and she didn't have any credit cards in her own name. And he shut them all down. And they called it economic warfare. And I think that's what perked me up. I said, economic warfare.
That's what it is.
Shut her down. So she has no way where to live or even how to eat, taking care of a mother who's sick. And here's where he is. And I said, this is so in these times. Because I'm not a young woman anymore, Helen.
I do understand.
And
I'm right in that race with you.
I know that. I'm right there with you.
Yes.
And I know back in the 70s and 80s, people did really bad things.
It's true.
Around women and an inability to get credit and buy a car in her name, that was a big deal. Listen, camera, please. You young girls, I know you don't believe this. But ask your mama. Ask your grandmother. What happened when their husbands died or they were divorced and they could not get a loan? They couldn't get credit cards. They couldn't do anything. Literally, economic warfare. Still here.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Well, let's talk about, God, there's so much I want to talk about, and this is so good. These books.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about this one. This is your most recent one, the camera. This is
yes, that's the second edition.
Global Opportunities, My Space of Employment. What is this about?
In there, we take you from releasing the pause button on I need to be employed.
Okay.
To being employed, having your own office space several weeks. You learn the drill. And all in between. Now, what we start off, introductions, we talk about interviewing, we talk about questions to ask, questions not to ask, how to ask, answer the difficult questions. Instead of saying, how much do you make? you really want to know from the interviewer at what level or how long have you been in your position is what you want to really want to know. So if you've been there X years, then you do the math. Because you did your research with the company before you went for the interview.
But can I ask you a question? Because
Sure.
this is, I love this about the proper handshake, which is web to web.
That's correct.
Exactly like that.
Right.
And how to shake and how to let a person know that you are making eye contact. Those things are so important.
All right. What it is.
But a person has to get to that place. And I'm saying that so many young people today, and even older people, it's like everything's on computer, Monster, and all that stuff. When do you make a handshake? You have to still get through the array of data to even be at the top of the list.
If in interviewing or in meeting someone on the street,
Yes.
when you meet someone on the street, when you meet them, when you come in the morning in the workplace, some people, they will shake hand then. They slow down long enough, they'll shake your hand, and that's, oh, glad to be here another day.
Yes.
And keep going. But what it is, when to extend the hand is when you are one arm length from the person. If you, one arm length. If you extend your hand and they do not extend theirs,
yes,
just release it by your side and continue the conversation. And
a person would not respond to an extension of
nowadays?
Yes.
That is correct.
Is it because of fear of contaminants or bugs or?
I wish I could say that's
I mean,
that's
I'm just
the problem.
trying to figure out why a person would not respond to a greeting in that manner.
They didn't read my book.
They didn't read your book. Because I would be hard-pressed, Helen. I'm telling you, I interface with so many people. They say I'm a networking queen.
Right.
I actually enjoy hearing people's stories. I find their lives fascinating. But at the point you don't even extend basic courtesies.
But on the flip side,
yeah,
they do not understand the message in the handshake.
Oh.
The message in the handshake tells me if you are nervous.
Oh.
They tell me if you are focused.
Along with the eye contact.
Along with the eye contact.
Right.
And if I will look toward your eyes, but I really look at your chin, and I don't break your concentration. But it never stops. While we have that breaking of the concentration, let's look at the name tag.
Okay.
The reason you place it high on the right is because when my hand goes out, my eyes go to your eyes and right there to your name tag.
On the right.
Yes.
Always on the right.
It's on the right.
Oh my gosh.
Even if you're left-handed, you shake with your right hand.
You're correct. So I didn't know that. So it goes on your right.
On the right.
Always on your right.
It's on the right.
And a handshake will tell a person whether or not you are intentional and mindful.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is correct. And the limp, never give a limp handshake.
Oh.
But don't do a bone crusher. Because I'm finding, even with youth today, they have sensitive hands.
Well,
you know, most times
we worked. I mean,
they didn't build the muscles up.
Yeah, you do farm work. You're working.
Right. But there are different, situations in the life of people nowadays that I have to be mindful of when I'm telling them, now make sure you do a firm handshake, but
not a crusher.
Not a crusher.
Right.
Just let it be there. But that's the important thing.
So this book deals with just how you can begin to move globally, or just? You
can move globally, or you can move globally there, because also the dining, you need to know how to dine, when to start talking business.
Okay.
Matter of fact, back up. When do you sit down?
Okay.
If you are meeting with a group.
Okay.
Then you wait until more than one is there, unless the person in charge give you instructions. You may be seated and wait for them at your table. It helps with the traffic flow or the people flow.
Is this that's in this book as well?
Some of those ideas are there.
Okay.
Yes.
Can people get this book?
Yes, they can go to my website.
What's the name of the website?
It's www.seasons-of-life.com.
Seasons-of-life.com.
That's the website.
And they can get this book.
They can get that book.
How much is this book, may I ask?
That book is $12.95.
Oh, that's it?
If you buy, and I realize I wanted to get in everybody's hands, so
yes, you've done it.
Tried to keep it reasonable.
Yes.
But what will be ideal if they had, like my ideal client with that book, will be a group that would like to do a self-study.
Yes.
You can get a better price in bulk.
Okay,
and
got you.
I can handle bulk orders as well. And if it's really bulk, we can go back to the printers.
Oh, well, that's a nice.
It will be available.
That's a nice place to be.
Yes, it will be available. But one thing I would like to point in there, after you are employed,
yes,
you systematic savings.
Yes,
I talk about that in there. I'll also talk about the hidden paycheck. Ask for stocks. Instead of cash in your check. Ask for an overseas assignment. Ask for your membership to an organization that the company will benefit by you being a part of. So that is for those that are already in the career field and need to move up. I talk about how to help the senior care as well as child care.
Because that's a big deal today.
You got to work that in your schedule.
Oh, my gosh.
So those are the things we talk about also.
Well, let's talk about, because one of the things that I am very concerned about, and I'm sure you've handled this, is given what's happening in the marketplace globally, as well as here in our community. Procter & Gamble's restructuring and downsizing. Walmart is basically pulled out the drums and saying, we're going to cost cut. We're going to do what we need to do to stay profitable. McDonald's, everybody is looking at cost containment, and the easiest way to do that is through letting people go reducing manpower. How does one, when you are 50 and you're not eligible for Social Security,
yes,
that's 66, folks, what do you do?
I can answer that easily.
Well, I'm listening.
I was 53.
Okay.
When I was transitioned. Today, I would say pray first.
Yes.
And ask for directions.
Okay.
Because the idea that unemployment may or may not be available for me, I need something, or my severance packet is not that great, I need something. Seek the mind of Christ. What do you want me to do? And once you get the mind of Christ, then you can move forward. What I did was that because I was in management, I had 30 days with a consultant firm to make this transition. If you were not in management, you had 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. And if you were transitioned on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, those were your 2 days. Trust me, I was still thinking about how to export this, how to expedite that order, the training that's coming up. So your mind is not in the mindset, how long ago did you write your last resume?
Right.
So all of those things have to come into play and be brought to mind. But now that you know the direction you want to go, go back to school.
Go back to school.
Go back to school. Go to get a trade. And you might go out of your traditional career. It might be a totally different, something that you wanted to do, but you didn't have the confidence or it didn't pay enough then. So like I went into finances because I always wanted to help people.
Okay.
He says, we'll be the lenders and not the borrowers.
Exactly.
We'll be the head and not the tail. He says over in Ephesians that he will supply our Philippians. He'll supply our need according to his riches and glory.
Right.
All right. If I'm borrowing or living on my credit card, something is not right. So I had to come to grips with that. So that's why I encourage people to, what is your passion? If I
Okay.
woke you up at midnight and said, what do you love to do? Whatever you answer me, that is what I recommend you pursue.
Mm. It sounds so easy on the upfront, but what do you think are the major obstacles that are facing people today as they are confronted with this transition? Let me just share with you, particularly with Procter & Gamble doing this restructuring and getting rid of a lot of younger executives.
Yes,
There used to be the older executives that were out the door, but they're going deeper now.
that's right.
And people that they do not feel have a cultural um, connection, meaning
Yes.
there are people in all kinds of workplaces doing everything.
Exactly.
And corporate is looking and they're getting rid of people that they don't feel fit in. And a lot of these young people don't have a clue. What would you say to that?
If you does not fit the mold,
Right.
then you need to look outside the mold.
Okay, into where you
what,
fit.
What is my second choice? There are choices.
Okay.
It's a generational thing. But we have to, by that I mean, look, what did your uncle do? Did you like that, what he did as a child? Or did you like what grandma did? And there are genderless jobs nowadays, I'm saying.
Right, right.
At one time it was tradition career patterns, but now we're finding male, female in several jobs. So you really have to look at what it is, and do not beat yourself up.
Right.
You're in this situation. How are you going to get out of this situation? Now, also through research, women cope better than men with transitions. Because if women go for an interview and they thank you for coming, we'll get in touch. And then you get what I call the ding letter. I'm sure it probably has another name now. That it was nice of you coming in. You're wonderful. But however, yes, men, according to research, they don't handle that as well. It may take them 2 or 3 weeks or a month before they go back and interview again.
Really?
Because they feel that their manhood is under attack.
Oh my God.
Plus, they have to release the pause button of yesterday.
Okay.
I held the position of.
That, you know what?
Let it
It's
go.
so ironic that you say that, because I was at a sales meeting, because I'm a saleswoman. I do insurance and investments, and that's sales. But I was at a meeting, and there was a gentleman who had a very prominent position in a very major bank, and a white gentleman, older, and they got rid of him. He was in the wealth management division, and he brought his, and in that room, I said to myself, this is so funny, because there were men in that room that were making six figures, $300,000-$400,000, that could have helped him, and he was so hostile and talking about what he had done and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, why don't you just shut up and sit down and just be an observer? But he came in, and these were younger guys, and they looked at me and they said, Michelle, that's why we don't want to fool with him. They were point blank. They said, that's why we don't want to hire him, because they keep talking about what they used to do, and they're not bringing any of the 21st century thinking
Exactly.
into the table, which is, how can I humble myself and learn some things from you? Because at the point you're making $500,000, you must be doing something right. But I felt that that was very interesting, that observation.
Right. But we have to have a teachable spirit.
Got it.
We have to have a teachable spirit. And we have to realize that my season has changed.
Right. That brings back to this seasons of life.
Seasons of life. We have seasons. His season, the gentleman in that conversation,
the older white gentleman.
His season had changed, and he could not accept it.
Oh my God! Even to the point of unemployability. I mean, you can get stuck like that.
Yes, you can. You can get stuck to the point of suicide. That spirit is just that powerful. You're talking to.
Right.
And the title, whatever the title is, do you realize what I have accomplished?
Well, in fact, he asked me, he said, do you have a business card? I said, no, sir, I don't. I said, I really don't. And I said, you've done so much that you wouldn't want to talk to me anyway. I'm just a little fish. And I said,
Not today, huh?
Not today.
Not today.
You're going to get my card because I do not want you calling me.
Right.
But
Those are that's how it happens. We have to realize you have to have a teachable spirit.
okay.
Regardless of what your season is, realize your season, and first accept that your season has changed. Now, how do I survive in my new season?
Okay, how do you?
I survived in my new season because instead of having a woe is me attitude, I changed it to God be the glory. Thank you, Jesus. You knew about this before my birth. I think that was one of my past words.
Yeah.
You knew about it before my birth. Now, I need help
Right.
to move forward. And when I became content in the state I was in, doors start opening. Doors start opening. And I have more appointments now than I have had in the last probably year and a half at one time. I mean,
Helen, that is amazing.
and it all started in March.
In March.
In March, this is April, and I have
Well, I know you are
out in June.
busy. I said, Helen, you got to come on my show. Slow down. What is Justice? I want to talk about these couple of books just briefly. Inspirations from the Heart.
Inspirations from the Heart.
Here
It
it
has different passages, like the parable of the seed is your mind, your garden. What are you planting in your mind? That is what will produce. And the seeds for the mind should be love, peace, joy, the fruit of the Spirit. That's what we should be planting.
Okay.
And if we're not planting that, we need to start planting that. And it helps you. I also have my testimonial from 9/11, a week after 9/11. My younger sister and I went to Germany to get her grandchildren.
Yes.
And 15 minutes out of CVG, we heard something like a motorcycle backfire. We didn't know if we had been attacked. We didn't know what was coming down. Well, we finally found out, make a long story short, is that we had engine trouble.
Okay.
We returned to the airport. We were put in a hotel that night, and the next day we left to go to Germany.
Okay.
We spent more time in the air than we spent in Germany.
My word.
September 23rd.
Right. That's after 9/11.
After 9/11, we went to get my grandniece and nephew.
From Germany.
From Germany.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, because my niece
This
is Air
is
Force
good.
also.
What is this hospitality, sharing our love?
Hospitality,
I
sharing
love
friends, family, and community.
I love this. I love friends and family and community.
Yes.
I do.
With the family, I share with you how to enjoy your meal, an upscale meal, on a shoestring budget. I tell you, when you go to the market to get the meal, bring it home, put it in a dish on the table with either placemats or runner or even a tablecloth if you choose, to let the children that are old enough to help set the table.
Right.
You give the ones with the silverware, so if they drop it, it's all right.
Okay.
The older ones get the next items up that they can handle. There must be a stabilizer in the family. There's one that keep the calm, keep the quiet atmosphere, regardless of what's going on. When you get unexpected guests, when a friend calls and say, I have a friend in town and I need some help, you know how to handle this. It is in there as well.
This is one. So it also talks about how the children can be a part of this.
A part of the family. For their birthday.
Yes.
Don't go out and spend a lot. Make their favorite meal.
Right.
Now the family just have to wait for their birthday to get their favorite meal.
But you know what,
and
Helen,
you're staying
I did that
Wow.
with my children. I'm a single mother. Raised 3 children in the admonition of the Lord, and birthdays were big.
Yes.
Because they got their favorite food. They made a list, what's your favorite dish? And my son, who's 34, still, are you going to send me my dish for my birthday? I'm like, by the time I mail it, oh, Mom, just fix my meal.
Wow.
And I know that children never forget those things.
No, they don't. They don't. And when you take the children out At what age should you take the children to a public restaurant? When they can sit at the table.
Yes.
And conduct themselves properly.
Right.
And that is not screaming.
Right.
But then you have to start at home before you take them out.
Right.
Because they have flashbacks on the days when you can't that mother do anything with their child.
Yes.
Before you had your child.
Okay.
You have to do those kind of things as
yes.
well.
Yes.
With the friends, whether it's in church, whether it's in the community. Be friendly. Show yourself friendly. Help when you can.
Right.
Those kind of things. But also for the community, the last chapter, I'm dealing with final services and final events.
Oh.
I talk about cultural diversity. If you are attending service for a different denomination,
okay,
a different culture, do you know what flowers to take? Do you know what to do if it's a cremation service? Well, you do the same things. They want flowers as well. They want cards. They want memories.
Right.
But food baskets and fruit baskets are increasing more than flowers in some situations.
Okay.
Also, the non-traditional things. Did you offer to go to the airport to pick up those that were flying in? Did you offer to take care of the animals while it's going on?
Right, right.
If you decide you want to answer the phone at the residence, please get clear instructions
on what to say.
What to say.
Yes.
And know who is in charge, because someone is always in charge. But find out which family member is in charge, and that way you keep it. And don't just leave the notebook anywhere after it's all over. Well, who called? We don't know. Also, when you go to healthcare facilities,
yes,
don't put on your favorite high aroma cologne.
Oh, I don't wear them, period.
Because
no.
You already have, especially the hospitals, you
yes.
have the things that are going
yes.
the medical side
yes.
of it.
Yes.
And there's no time to ask your friend, do you like this? And they trying to breathe.
Helen, our time is wrapping up, but I have to say this.
Yes.
I don't wear perfumes, period, because so many people have so many conditions involving breathing.
Exactly.
And perfumes can affect your nervous system and others.
Yes.
And I said, I don't think I want people passing out when I walk by.
No.
No, I prefer not to do that.
Exactly.
But do you, this is what I'd like to do. This has been so amazing, and we have not covered most, and time is wrapping up. Where can a person reach you if they'd like to talk to you more, or they'd like to get in touch with you as far as doing these seminars? I definitely want to come. I mean, really, I want to come because these are issues that are near and dear to me. And I have been self-employed for 38 years, and I am transiting as well.
Exactly.
I mean, really.
The season is changing.
I mean, the season is changing on some things. And I do feel, and I tell people, if you think you know everything, then you're just dumb.
Exactly.
It's not possible for you to know everything. Your head's not that big. But will you be doing anything coming up that would be public in nature, or do you, how's that going to work?
Yes, on June 11,
okay,
I will be conducting a workshop in Dayton.
June the 11th.
And also
in Dayton.
Yes, in Dayton. Now the 13th is the day that you will be open more, and I'll be teaching more.
Okay.
So let's go with the 13th as the date. Put on your calendar.
Okay.
I'll be in touch, and others as well.
Okay.
And I will be here in Dayton on Gettysburg at Bethel Apostolic Church.
Okay, teaching.
Teaching.
Awesome.
I teach morning and afternoon.
Awesome.
So you'll have me all day.
Well, I am going to put that in my calendar as a place to be.
Right. Because
you are genuinely a blessing to the people in our community.
Thank you.
And what you bring in terms of your perspective and your history and your wisdom and knowledge is awesome. And I just want to thank you. What's your website again?
It's www.seasons-of-life.com.
And is there a telephone number or anything people can reach you, or is everything done by net?
No, they may call me at 2147.
Could you say that again?
That's 513-260-2147. But if you want a longer message, you can call 866-292-6950.
And I must say, closing out today's segment, you have been awesome. And I looked at all your credentials and things you've done, and Helen Rogers, multi-talented, multi-gifted, focused woman. I'm blessed to be in your presence.
Thank you, because I'm also on Facebook.
Oh, you on? Well, of course.
And LinkedIn.
Yes, we're Facebook friends. Thank you very much.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Yes.
And I'm humbly blessed.
Well, isn't she amazing? I told you so. She's my friend, too. Told you so. I appreciate you being a part of my world today with the Honorable and esteemed Helen Rogers, multi-talented woman who loves the Lord and who is just remarkable in her past, her history, her framing. It's all about seasons and knowing where you are and being open to change. This is really the big thing about getting older. Some of us refuse to change. And I'm going to tell you something. The dinosaur is a testimony of what happens when you refuse to change and it's getting cold. They could have walked to where it was warm, but they stayed put. So on today's segment of The Power of Money, I'm your host, Michelle Graves. And as always, thank you for watching, and God bless you. You take care. Bye-bye.